question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, what is going on? We are live on a Friday night. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 219 of the Throwdown, the community on the interwebs where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a wrestler based in the great state of North Carolina who is an in-demand name on the Carolinas scene. My friends, welcome with me, the last savior, Elliot Shock. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be on with the Throwdown.
Absolutely, man. I've really been looking forward to this. And I'll go ahead and say to the folks watching live, pardon my voice. I'm fighting a sinus infection and I'm pushing through, doing the best I can, but my voice is not at its best. So, and again, for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all or at least most of Elliot's social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, take the time and go to each of the platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
I've been wrestling for going on this will be my fourth year in the world of professional wrestling.
Nice.
I started training in, I want to say, September of 21, and had my first professional match on Mother's Day of 22.
Nice. So who actually trained you?
That would be LeBron Cozone, one of the highest now in probably the world. He runs a school called Firestar Pro Wrestling in Greensboro, North Carolina. So
Yep.
Mixture of him and then, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mixture of him and then I'd like to give a shout out to one of our helpers at the time, the late great Scrapyard Dog. He was very important in the Carolinas, so I just figured I'd throw his name just as much.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had seen recently that LeBron Cozone has gotten signed to MLW, so that's great for him, man. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely heard. I've had a number of people from Firestar on the show over the time I've been doing this, man, and you guys have something special up there.
I definitely agree. I'd say we're probably one of the best schools in the Carolinas, let alone probably the Southeast. A lot of great talent that under the tutelage of Cozone, we've produced so much talent.
Gotcha. So in the early stages of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to wrap your mind and body around?
Probably just that, like maneuvering my body around. That's probably one of the biggest things that was difficult for me during my training initially. It was just like my body wasn't used to moving the way it does now, taking the bumps and taking them specifically, like in specific ways. Like, of course, everybody's scared to fall down. So like learning to fall down was like probably the biggest hurdle for me because I would always do it wrong. I would end up with whiplash for like a good few weeks until my body built up the callus for it. But even then, on top of it, when I learned how to do it right, then I was like, okay, well, this ain't so bad.
Got you. Got you. Yeah, and a lot of I've never done professional wrestling training, but I've done Brazilian jiu-jitsu and some martial arts type stuff, and a lot of it also is there's spatial awareness, being aware of your positioning, as opposed to the person that you're working with. So.
Mhm.
So, did you come to professional wrestling with an athletic or other type of martial arts or combat sports background? Had you done other sports before wrestling?
The only thing I did for wrestling actually was like on an amateur level back in high school. That was really the only other sport, if any, that I did before I entered professional wrestling. I did that for 4 years, all 4 years of my high school career, but never really took off in the way that I wanted it to.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I'm presuming, just based on the fact that the majority of people I've had on the show have answered it this way, I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of professional wrestling the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes, it would be most definitely.
What would you say is your earliest wrestling related memory?
Uh, Probably be watching it. So it was actually my introduction to wrestling. It would be I think I was like 6 years old at the time. Just joking around with my brother. I was gonna jump out the closet and scare him, and then he was watching this the Kane versus Kane feud from 2006.
Oh yeah.
Just maybe like a random clip on YouTube. I think it was either the Masked Kane, Luke Gallows coming out and introducing himself, or it was maybe like one of those YouTube loops of like Kane just doing the entrance over and over again. But it was just so fascinating to me because it was like it's one of those weird and wacky storylines of like you're wrestling yourself essentially, but like for me in my 5 year old's mind, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I yeah, I love this so much, and I don't even know what it is. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yep. Yep.
after
Yep.
I was just hooked. I was just hooked.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm an older guy. I've been a fan since I was around 11. As a kid in Florida, and I basically got my start watching the old Florida Championship Wrestling back in the early 1980s with Gordon Soley doing the commentary. And the first feud that I remembered really being invested in was Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan.
Mm,
And, in many ways, Kevin Sullivan back then was kind of almost the pre-runner to the Undertaker, or or even Bray Wyatt. But when you're 11 years old, man, Kevin Sullivan was a scary dude.
absolutely.
At the time, he had the whole satanic gimmick going on, and when you're 11 years old, man, that's a heavy rap.
Hmm. It probably would have scared me too, man. Knowing like probably it was his eyes. Always it was his eyes. Whenever I started exploring wrestling, it was just like
Oh yeah,
he just looked demonic.
yeah. But you come to find out later, the man was an absolute sweetheart, actually, and in person, away from the character.
Hmm.
But man, yeah, he was spooky. So, kind of piggybacking onto that question, what was the first live show you ever attended as a fan?
Uh, like from a WWE standpoint, it was probably I think it was like a 2010 SmackDown taping, and I didn't even know what tapings were, so I didn't understand why it would change from Raw to NXT at the time, to Superstars, to SmackDown. And I was just like, I just seen Kofi Kingston wrestle like 5 times on the same night. So I'm
Yeah.
just confused. I'm like, okay, okay. Well, I thought this was SmackDown. I didn't know I was getting every single show. I mean, I'm excited. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I came here for the Kane and the Undertaker storyline that was happening at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but
Yeah.
from an indie perspective, actually, there was these, I forgot the promotion's name, way back when in like 2000. I want to say 2008, 2009 ish. There was a small little local indie show where adjacent to where I live at, and I just remember my dad getting tickets, and I was just excited to see some live wrestling. I didn't know what was going on. Of course, I didn't know anybody there, any characters and stuff like that. But I was just excited to. I saw a ring, and I immediately was just like, okay, we're here. This is not WWE,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're here.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. So looking over at the Instagram chat, actually, my guest from 2 nights ago, Jaden Black from the great state of Texas, is actually joining us in the chat. He was man, he was a good guy. Definitely glad to see him checking the show out tonight. So, the physical side of this is all obviously extremely important. So tell us a bit about your gym routine, and in your mind, what would be the most crucial exercise or group of exercises for you to keep in ring shape?
Um, so gym routine, I typically go maybe about 3 to 4 times out the week. Crucially, like everything isn't just as important as people say all the time, but for me, it's probably exercises with my arms because I do a lot of powerhouse moves. I like to lift a lot, so I tried my best to incorporate a lot of lifting with barbell curls, dumbbell curls, bench press, and all that, as well as my legs as possible. Like even though nobody likes leg day, I know it's just as important, especially with all the running we do. And again, my lifting with my powerhouse moves, I need my bottom base just as much.
Gotcha.
Still don't like it though.
Yeah. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests? What do you like to do with your spare time?
Like throughout my spare time, I mean, I'll typically sit down and like decompress. I'll watch TV shows. I mean, I like to watch TV. I like my anime just as much. I'm a little bit of a geek in terms of that. And in other words, I like to do some creative writing. I used to do a lot of that back in the day, where I would just like write stories and write not fan fiction per se, just like stories, articles about just whatever. Nature is probably like the biggest about it because I like to explore a lot. So I have a pretty adventurous mind. So taking walks in parks, just being one with nature, probably my biggest and probably my most favorite hobby right now.
Gotcha. So, we're mostly a wrestling related show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, by any chance, are you watching or listening to anything really cool right now?
Uh, I mean, I wouldn't say right now currently. Uh, yeah, nothing really pop culture craze right now. I've just been kind of just like just on the outs with that.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
I would say that's my dad, man. My pops is he's really influential for me because he's always one of those guys where it's like he's a real go getter. Like no matter what he does, no matter what he's doing, he's always giving like 110% on everything. And like growing up, he was a big influence on me in terms of that. He's one of those guys that just pushes a narrative, not a narrative in like a negative way, but in a positive way of like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to get it done. I don't care how long it takes, but I'm going to get it done. And even now, like even outside of wrestling, he kind of, pushes me to do that with my wrestling, without my wrestling, and making the right decisions. And I can't thank him enough for that.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, as I mentioned in the introduction, you're from the great state of North Carolina. So, what is your favorite thing about North Carolina?
Uh, uh, I don't know. I've had a really long time to like live here, so probably the scenery. Like I like the fact that with throughout North Carolina, it feels like it's a different state in each area that you go to. So I like the distinctiveness. It's like on one side, because I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. So Raleigh, North Carolina is kind of like the food craze place. Greensboro would be I guess the wrestling centric slash like party place, and Charlotte is the city. And then you have
Hmm.
the other sides like the Jacksonville, like the beach areas for vacation purposes, and then the obscure areas that are just like, wow, we got a random city right here. That's kind of weird, but it looks cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's each part of North Carolina has like such a distinctiveness to it. I like the mystique of it all.
Oh, yeah. So, they say that the best wrestling personas are oftentimes pretty much yourself turned up to 1,000. So tell us about in-ring Elliot Shock. Tell us about The Last Savior and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
The Last Savior, he's more of a brash, arrogant, and aggressive guy. Completely different, like from how I am on a daily basis. I'm rather quiet, I would say, and reserved, unless I'm familiar with you enough. In which case, I'm like very silly, very wacky, very you know what I'm saying, just fun loving. Whereas Elliot, as a character, Elliot's very self-centered. He's very brash towards anybody and everybody, pretty much that doesn't adhere to him. I would say Elliot is very narcissistic, is the right word for it. Definitely very narcissistic.
Gotcha. Do you feel like the persona has evolved over time?
Yes, quite a bit, especially from like the early days. My previous character, by far, was the biggest evolution. Before the character that I'm doing now, I was a superhero as my initial character, and then it divulged into what you see now, basically. But it took a lot of turns to get to where I'm at now because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I didn't understand what type of character I wanted to be. I didn't know how I wanted to present it. I didn't know if I was presenting it well enough. I didn't know if I was making it too complicated. And then things just started falling into place to where it's like I'm the character that you see now, just aggressive, just flat out narcissistic, self-centered. But I wasn't, definitely was not that at the very beginning.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? What were your thoughts? How did it go? Let's hear about the very first one.
All right, very first match. That was Mother's Day of 2022. So I remember feeling the jitters and feeling excited. I had my whole family come out, and
Oh, that's
again, this was a
great.
different character than what I present now. So I was this big, fun-loving superhero. Had the blue masquerade mask, had the weird face paint on, had the cape, had the whole shebang. So I was really excited to just go out there, just have some fun with I think his name was Jason Rand, the guy that I wrestled first, and we had a good little. We went out there, we had a good little like. I think we wrestled for a good 5 to 8 minutes. I was getting my butt whooped pretty much for the majority of it, but but it was just the fact that getting in the ring itself, I was just mesmerized by it. Everybody's looking at me. I'm a little intimidated, not because of stage fright, but just because it's like, wow. I told myself I wanted to wrestle, and here I am in my first match against Jason right now, and I'm just like, okay. But the match was fun. It went really good. Everybody seemed to like it. Kozone was really appreciative of me, and I was appreciative of him for giving me the opportunity. My grandmother that showed up at the show, and this is probably the funniest part of it all, because Jason had cheated to win. The big bad guy goes up, and my grandmother, she got really into it, so she was about to hop over the guardrail and started
Oh,
cursing at my opponent. So I was
oh,
trying my
that's
best
great.
to trigger within my first match.
Oh, that's beautiful. So we've heard about the first one. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna be tough. Um, because I've had a lot of really good matches as of late, especially. But I would say my favorite would be against somebody that was on the podcast, St. Julius. Me and
Oh
him
yeah.
had a really good Firestar Pro Wrestling main event. I would say it was, I want to say October of last year. We wrestled in the main event of the show for his championship at the time, and that was probably one of my breakthrough performances uh, in front of my colleagues. Like it was the match, the intensity behind it, the counters that we were doing, just and the fact that we are kind of like polar opposites in terms of character. The
Hmm.
story that we've been building up until that point had been like really, really great from a promo perspective, as well as like an in-ring perspective. Because Julius and I have always had great chemistry, but I feel like we were able to really showcase it like even further that night. And like that's one of those matches that's gonna like live with me for like forever, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I was telling you before we went on the air, man, Julius was the one that put you on my radar, man. And I'm grateful that he did, man. But he is a phenomenal human being, just a good dude. And man, I think the world of that guy.
Absolutely, he deserves his flowers, man. Probably one of the
Yep.
nicest guys that I've met, thankfully, in this business.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously, the persona that you're currently portraying is definitely a heel. But do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface, or is it just whatever the situation calls for?
I would really say it depends on the situation. I don't have a preference, although I am typically, like you said, I am typically a heel based off of my character alone. I do enjoy having that challenge though of switching the roles whenever I get a chance to. I don't get a chance to do it as often in the Carolinas because what I'm saying, I've built up this heel persona enough to where it feels like the whole state hates me. So
Yeah.
I mean, but whenever I travel outside of the state and I'm given the opportunity to flip that switch and actually become the baby face of the match, it really makes me feel like okay, I can be real versatile when it comes to the character.
Yeah. Yeah. The people that can really not change much about their character, but just subtle little things and shift back and forth from heel to babyface and back. Those people really have a gift, and to me, that's just magic. Like Roman Reigns, for instance, he really hasn't changed his character. He's just done some subtle things to make the crowd receive him differently. And I mean that's just like I said, that's just magic. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, because he's still coming out doing the whole acknowledge me shtick, but it hits different just because of the subtle little things. So
Indeed, indeed. It's just those small little tweaks that make the biggest impact. It's funny how it works like that, isn't it?
it really is. It really is. So you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure you've developed a few of these. So what is your biggest wrestling related pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. I guess really just like I guess being too loud calling spots. I guess I always hate being too visible to the audience's eyes to where it's like John Cena does it all the time where you'll see him like saying everything as loud as possible, which understandably so. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to
Yeah.
make this as choreographed as possible. But it's just like one of those things is like if you make it too apparent, then it's just like, okay, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's that
Right.
mystique that I want to protect just as much. And it's just like, okay, I get it, but can we not please? Can we not?
I gotcha. So this next question has actually become one of my favorites. I've asked this in pretty much every episode, and this has been almost a 50-50 split. And everybody has their own interesting reasons for answering this one way or the other. But if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
Mm. See. This is the question I thought about a lot when you sent it to me. Honestly, and is of course it's controversial regardless however you go about it, but I'd probably say be great on the mic rather than be great in the ring because at least like I'm able to still sell you tickets from
Yeah,
words alone. And I've had, of course, unfortunately, I've had those incidents where it's like I've had some of these great promos, but the matches haven't really delivered just as much. But it's still the fact that I've been able to sell you the fact that what I'm saying like I have this weird mystique to me, or I have this overwhelming aura to me that is like, okay, I want to check you out. I might not impress you in the ring from that perspective, but then it's like, hey, I still got your money. No, but just being able to sell the story still probably works better for me.
gotcha, gotcha. Plus, if you can talk, if, God forbid something happens to where you can't wrestle anymore, there's still things you could do in the business. You could be a manager, you could be a commentator, you could be whatever. So, yeah, I mean, having the gift of gab is definitely important especially in the professional wrestling of today.
By far, by far. I think we sometimes forget like how much the voice is just as important as like the in-ring stuff that we do, because vocalization can really sell you a story better than just action.
Absolutely. So, over the time you've been doing this, what has been your most unusual encounter with a fan?
Uh, probably recently, probably in that main event I was just talking about with St. Julius.
Hmm.
There's this little trend going on in the Carolinas that's been following me for like a year now. It's I have fans that chant BB Elliot at me because of my I guess I have a big butt to some people. And so that's unfortunately has been a chant that I've been dealing with for like almost a year now, actually over a year now. And one of the weirdest encounters was at that show when before my match, fans are just engaging with me, and this lady is walking up towards the ring. She's just a fan, just recording the videos or whatever, and she was just staring at me, sorry about that, paying attention, and she's just like, "I'm not gonna lie, you have a pretty fat butt," and she proceeded to try and grab my butt.
Oh,
I didn't pay it no mind at all. But for some reason, in the back of my head, I'm just like, did she just try to touch my butt? I can't worry about that right now. Let me focus on this match. That's probably the most weirdest encounter I've had. I'm sure it's at some point that's going to be topped.
oh yeah. I mean, some of the stories that I've heard are just wild, man. Some fans really get into it.
Nah, man, man, oh man.
So, so what is your all-time favorite match as a fan? Do you have a match that is like near and dear to your heart that you find yourself circling back to?
um, I would say it's a lot of Kurt Angle matches. He's probably like the biggest influence for me. I think his match versus I'll say Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit from Royal Rumble 2003 is probably like the best match I've ever seen as a fan, and that's one of those matches that like I'll consistently go to all the time and rewatch just because of their intensity, because of the submission counters that they were doing, and just every little aspect of it being like a central wrestling match. Because I was a pretty big technical guy growing up, like enjoying technical wrestling.
Hmm.
So Angle and Eddie specifically, probably two of my favorites. But just being able to see Kurt Angle be that intense, uh, one of my absolute favorite matches.
Oh yeah, and I will unashamedly admit to still being a Chris Benoit mark. I can separate the man's resume of work from how things ended up with him. And, terrible human being, but still one of the best wrestlers to ever do it.
Indeed, indeed.
So, piggybacking onto that question, um, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan?
Promo. I don't think I have a favorite, like one favorite that I can pinpoint. I do have a few that I really enjoy. And I probably want to highlight this one, if any. It was Kane Dewey, Cactus Jack's promo from ECW.
Yes.
That one
Yes.
there, I would suggest to any wrestler, if you want to get better at cutting promos or you want to hear what a very intense and story-like promo is like, that is the one right there. That is the
I
one.
have I have actually brought that promo up. When I have really young wrestlers on here, I recommend them to go and check that out. And as far as a match to check out, back in 1989, Ric Flair and Terry Funk
Mm,
had an I Quit match on a WCW Clash of the Champions. That is just a masterclass in physical storytelling. So,
mm, beautiful right there. Rick was on a run right there throughout that year. I'm telling you what.
yes, absolutely. So, looking over at the Instagram chat, Chris Page from CCP Podcasting just popped in for a minute, and he's actually got a question for you, and that is, what's been your standout moment thus far in your career?
Um, Probably, that's actually a pretty good question. Standout moment, I'd say really it was probably a match that really elevated myself, and I think it was like a match with this guy named the Infinite Man Tim. It was May of last year that really kind of like became my uh, became my moment. We had told a really great story of me just trying to get this match with him, ready to showcase that what I'm saying, I'm ready to beat you, or I'm ready to elevate myself. I've proven myself. And it became what essentially was my groundbreaking, my standout moment. Because I'd say from after that match, people around the Carolinas started to give me a little bit more notoriety behind my name of like, oh, Elliot's more than just a good hand. He's a really great wrestler. So I would
Got
attest
you.
that match, that moment, and probably the entire program with the Infinite Man Tim and everybody around it as probably my biggest standout moment.
Got you. Got you. So this is one of these questions that the answer can really change almost moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day. But at this very moment, in your opinion, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
Right. Yeah, it's going to change probably tomorrow. But right now, I'm going to say I really enjoy CM Punk's work right now. I think he's probably on the top of his game right now. Probably one of the best to do it as of right now, or at least today. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to give him. And then in terms of the women, honestly, in the world, I'd probably say Athena. Athena's been really putting in, and she's an unsung hero of Ring of Honor right now.
Yes, she
And
is.
you know what I'm saying, throughout her 1,000+ day reign as the women's champion. Please, I implore anybody watching this, check out any of her matches throughout this reign,
Yep.
and even then, past her reign or before her reign.
Yep.
She's been an unsung female wrestler for like quite a long while. And let me even take out the word female, like one of the best unsung wrestlers right now.
Yep. I agree. I mean, she is criminally underrated.
Absolutely. It sucks too because I feel like she deserves way more flowers than what she's getting. Like, of course, she's getting her flowers just as much as anybody else's, but I feel like she should have like a whole bouquet. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent? Who would Elliot Shock love to have the opportunity to share a ring with?
Well, I mean, I said his name earlier, so I would definitely say Kurt Angle. I always loved his intensity and what he brought from like a technical standpoint. Always mat based wrestling, and although I wasn't the greatest at mat based, I feel like me and him would have a really great physical match. I've seen the things that he's able to do, like with a Chris Benoit, like with a Shawn Michaels, like with a Eddie Guerrero, and me being the selfish guy that I am, I would definitely love to tear the house down with him and maybe even do some submission counters because that's really like the biggest thing I like about Kurt sometimes is he'll always find a way to get into that ankle lock. So I think we tell like a really great story.
Yeah, yeah. You know, with you liking chain wrestling and submission counters and everything, I could see you having a good match with Bryan Danielson.
Ah man, I would love a Danielson match. Danielson would be really great too.
Absolutely, man. So, obviously when you're wrestling and you're working people, some people you have just amazing in-ring chemistry with, like you were mentioning St. Julius. But do you have a person that if you're working that person, it's going to be magic. It's going to be an absolute banger. Do you aside from Julius, do you have such a person?
Yeah, aside from Julius, I would say guys like there's another wrestler in the Carolinas, Morgan Dash. He's really excellent. He's done stuff for GCW as well as DPW when they were still around. Whenever me and him have gotten into the ring with each other, it's been sparing, but throughout the times that we have, it's always been a killer match. Uh, I would say Morgan. I would say the Infinite Man Tim. We've had a couple of matches aside from just the one, and it's been really good chemistry since then. So I would probably say those two. Everybody else has been it's just sparing in terms of like maybe I'll just wrestle them the one time, or just like in a multi-man match, so I don't really get to do too much with them. But those two from any aspect, whether it's especially from a singles aspect, I think I have a really great chemistry.
Gotcha. So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
Some A favorite move I like to do all the time is probably I want to say I used to be a big German suplex guy, but I've kind of divulged now into dragon suplexes. So I enjoy my dragon suplexes all the time, especially when I'm able to do a bridge with it for a pinfall attempt. One of my absolute favorites. Now, the move that I do not like, it's real weird and specific, but it's like I don't like heights at all. As ironic as it is to say, I do not like heights at all. But you'll see me get on the top rope and do diving headbutts. But I do not like heights. So power bombs specifically, never in my life, especially from like anybody that's tall. For the life of me, I will ask, please let's not. But knowing me, I will end up taking it anyway.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, a move that is not currently in your move set, but if there is a move that's not in your move set that you could snap your fingers and suddenly be able to do perfectly and have it be a prominent part of your repertoire, what would it be?
Uh, Probably a tombstone pile driver. I don't typically do a lot of pile drivers at all. Nor have I been interested in doing ones like like a tombstone because I don't want people to look at me hit the move and say, "Oh, that's Undertaker." I'd rather it be like kind of distinctive to me. But it's one of those moves where it's like if I know for a fact that if I just wanted to snap it on for this random match specifically, I could just hit it right then and there, and it probably would look good. I think I've done it in practice a couple of times, and I've had some good praises about it. But that was like a really long time ago, actually. But I haven't really touched the move since.
Got you. Got you. So UK Paul actually just showed up over on Twitch, and he just basically sort of sent us a nice greeting, and then he also said, "Oh, he was just asking what your earliest WrestleMania memory is."
Early WrestleMania. Whew, I think it was, I think it was WrestleMania 20, I want to say 24. I was watching at the time. No, actually, scratch that. It was WrestleMania 28. WrestleMania 28. I was watching John Cena and The Rock. I didn't get a chance to watch any of the Manias beforehand, although I'd been a fan for quite a while. But that was probably like the first WrestleMania that I was able to like watch for a little bit, if anything. Like I showed up mad late. I was looking for streams, or my father was looking for streams for me to watch the show. And luckily, he had just gotten to the main event. And me being the kid that I was big, huge John Cena guy, big good guy. So,
Gotcha. So, you've been doing this again long enough that I'm sure this applies to one degree or another. So I'll ask you what hurts right now. Or should I say what doesn't hurt?
Probably that, yeah. But what does hurt, I would say, my right knee isn't feeling the best right now. Again, I do, both my knees actually. I do top rope maneuvers like diving headbutts, so it's like, and I don't wear knee pads. As contrary to popular belief, I don't wear knee pads when I jump off of there. So pretty reckless on my end, but that's been killing me as of late.
Gotcha. So, what is the worst bump you have taken?
Worst bump I've taken. Probably concrete bump. I had taken a suplex onto the concrete, and I guess I didn't breathe out quick enough. So the air literally left my lungs as forcefully as possible, and it felt like my eyes were about to pop out as soon as I landed back first. I remember feeling the coldness of the floor, and I was just so out of breath, like almost instantaneously. I was like, okay, this is the end of the match, please. But we still went like another like 5 minutes. So I was just praying that like, hey, let's just get through this match and then let me just get a water or something, please.
Gotcha. So, kind of a hot take question, and it's actually kind of a two-part thing. There's some big breaking news in the world of wrestling. WWE has actually done some roster cuts as of late today, and so far they've released Bo Dallas, who is Uncle Howdy, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, Alba Fire, and Zoe Stark. They have all been released from WWE, and we were kind of talking a little bit about it before we went on the air, and they haven't mentioned anything about Eric Rowan and Dexter Lumis, but I'm fairly certain if they're getting rid of the majority of the Wyatt Six, that those two are probably on their way out as well. What are your thoughts on these sudden cuts?
It's very unfortunate, to say the least. Nobody wants to see anybody lose their job, let alone be released or fired even. It's one of those unfortunate things. I'm just hoping that sooner or later, excuse me, that they'll be able to be back on their feet and tearing down the indies or whatever they decide to do.
Right. Yeah, and like we were saying, I was probably the most shocked at Zoe Stark, considering she's out with an injury. I mean, that's pretty cold. I mean,
very much so.
So, and the other big news is there are definite rumblings about some kind of a resurgence or reboot of Lucha Underground. I don't know if you've heard about that, but they apparently the Lucha Underground social media suddenly went active today with just a picture of a mask and the word "Mas" and a question mark, Mas meaning more. in Spanish. And then it says soon. So I don't know what exactly that means, but man, I absolutely love Lucha Underground, and if a revival of it is done right, that could be amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that gives a lot more people opportunities too. Lucha Underground at the time it was running was probably one of those more influential companies. So
Yes,
imagine what they could do right now with the stacked amount of talent that's around the independent scene right now.
I know, I know. I've been hearing rumors of something in the works regarding that for a while, and I've heard talk of WWE working with Netflix on a revival of it using the AAA talent, which I mean that would make all the sense in the world. I mean, but the question is, will it be done right, and will it be done in such a way as to really be respectful of what Lucha Underground was? And who knows? Because you remember what they did with ECW.
Yeah, exactly. Man, yeah. Here's the hope in a reboot if under them would be good. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
just one of
yeah,
those things we're gonna have to just wait and see.
absolutely. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
I think it's great. I think as its role, it's pretty big. You know what I'm saying, to say the least. Of course, it allows us to give ourselves a much bigger platform than if we were just back in the day where it was just we're hitting all these towns and hoping and praying that somebody notices us. Whereas I feel like social media now, especially like an Instagram or a Facebook or a Twitter, it's able to give us a much better or a much broader audience without leaving too much and having to worry about doing all those drives just as much.
Gotcha. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Don't do wrestling, man. You're gonna hurt your body too much. No, no, let me stop. Let me stop. It would probably be to keep chasing your dreams and don't ever doubt yourself. There was a time where doing wrestling right now probably wasn't going to be in the bingo books for me. There was a point in my crossroads uh, where I was deciding, like, do I still want to do this? It's always been a childhood dream, but I always thought about doing it, but then it just came to my life where I was like, do I still want to? Thankfully, I did, and thankfully, I'm able to do the stuff that I'm doing now, and I could be more than happy, more than blessed. So I would tell my younger self, hey, don't ever question your dreams.
Gotcha. So, do you have any pre show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Um, I would say two things, I guess. Because I do a little bit of cheating when it comes to walking out the curtain. Because when the doors open, I'm typically out there already talking smack to any of the audience members without selling merchandise. I usually sell merchandise like either during intermission or after the shows. But throughout beforehand, like my pre-show traditions is to excite the fans as much as possible, like to get under their skin. Typically, I'm a heel, so I like to go out there as early as possible, talk smack as they're coming into the doors, get them ready to boo me basically. And then even then, when I'm not out there before the shows actually start, I'm just sitting in the corner listening to my music, being able to go through a couple of songs, a couple of rock songs that I really enjoy that gets me really amped up.
Is there a particular song or songs that you use to get yourself fired up?
Uh, there's a couple. It's from this band. Our Lady Peace is pretty good, so I like to listen to a
Yeah,
couple of their songs. Not Enough is probably my favorite from them, and it really gets me amped up. Of like, okay, the show's about to start. You're gonna prove that you are enough. You know what I'm saying? Keep climbing. You're about to go kill it.
gotcha. Gotcha. So, just kind of a quick rundown. What all do you carry in your gear bag, and do you carry anything unique or unusual in your gear?
Actually, no. This is probably gonna be like, I know I kind of sound a little bland when I'm saying this, but it's legit just my gear. My gear, my wrist tape, all of my t-shirts that I can wear for my entrance purposes. But nothing really out of the blue, really, in terms of like in my gear bag. I think I've had like maybe like one or two obscure things from time to time. Like maybe like a I don't know like a snack or something like that, but nothing like out the ordinary.
Gotcha. So, over the time that you've been doing this, have you found a favorite venue to wrestle in, or are the venues all kind of the same to you, or is there one or two that are near and dear to your heart?
Um, no venue in particular, but I will say like any type of bar is always like a great time for me. Because like typically you're not like it's not really real wrestling fans at bar shows that I've been performing at. They're kind of just like one of those casual ones where it's like, it's wrestling, let's go check it out. And then I end up making either new friends or new fans. I'm saying interact with them from there, and either they become fans or it's just a good time regardless.
Got you. Got you. Well, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest ask a question for the next guest. And so my previous guest, as I mentioned earlier, is a guy named Jaden Black. He's a wrestler from the San Antonio area of Texas. And the question that he posed is if something happened in your next match that ended your career, would you be happy with your career up to this point?
Mm, that is a good question. And right, honestly, I'd say yes. The amount of stuff that I've been able to do, like again, after the first match that I had in my career, I was already set. I sought out to do what I wanted to do, which was wrestle. So if it were to end tomorrow, because I get to wrestle tomorrow, if it were to end tomorrow, I think I'd be content with where I'm at.
Got you. Got you. Since this is part of a series, do you have a question you would like to ask to the next guest?
Yes.
Okay, what you got?
Let's see. I wanna ask the next person, what keeps you inspired to keep going for your career? What keeps you motivated?
I like that. How would you answer that?
I would say it's what I'm saying. It goes back to me dreaming about this as a kid. Like I always want to be WWE champion. That's always been the end goal for me in terms of the career. So that keeps me motivated just as much. Like people can say, childhood dreams be childhood dreams, but I'm already living it. I just got to keep pushing until I get to that point. So that keeps me going.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, during his retirement tour, John Cena kept bringing up the concept of leaving wrestling better than he found it. And I just really dug that and just thought, well, what an incredible goal for your career. And so I've kind of incorporated that into my repertoire of questions here. So, what are you doing to try to leave professional wrestling ultimately better than you found it?
I think right now I'm trying to inspire and help as many people as I can. Sometimes at the Firestar Pro Wrestling Academy, I'll go down there from time to time and help with the training and facilitating other people's training, and helping
Hmm.
coaching them, trying to get them better, going to different shows and watching matches and giving critiques whenever any of my colleagues ask me, "Hey, what do you think of this?" or "What did you think of my performance here?" Just being able to be a voice and be a helping hand in any aspect as much as I can. I think that's the best way right now that I'm able to try and leave it better than when I entered.
Gotcha. So, you said you're in Raleigh. Out of curiosity, how far is that from Greensboro?
About an hour and I want to say 45 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just trying to sort of visualize the geography, because
Nah,
Greensboro is where Firestar is, correct?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we're pretty much getting toward the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
That would be probably the shows that I have for tomorrow and Sunday. That would be Dominant Championship Wrestling in Selma, North Carolina, tomorrow night, as well as Premier Wrestling Federation in Jacksonville, North Carolina on Sunday.
Nice, nice. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this coming Monday, the 27th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 220. And our guest is actually a wrestler based out of Texas, a third generation luchador. Father and grandfather both wrestled, and the family runs a school out there. Young man, 19 years old, Chaos Galvan. And then on Tuesday, the 28th, 7 p.m. Eastern, episode 221, and our guest is actually both members of a tag team, Wrestling's Most Wanted, made up of Xavier Gotti and Marcello Fuego. So definitely excited to have them on. Having tag teams on is actually a lot of fun, because you can kind of just wind them up and let them go, and they'll riff off of each other and bust each other's chops, and it's a good time usually. So before we wrap all of this up, do you have any final words for the audience?
Nothing of the sort. Just stay motivated, stay humble, stay respectful, keep doing what you're doing, because I'm sure whatever you're doing you're doing great.
Absolutely. And for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we have going here, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until Monday night with Chaos Galvan at 7 p.m. Eastern, be good to each other,